Good evening, everyone, and welcome to your last class, the 10th cohort. Please get your other members to join. Chairman, get your members to join. This is the last class. I expect us to have a full house. The ED is already around, so please get everyone else to join while we give 4 more minutes, and then the class will start. Okay, it's 5:05. You're welcome again. And we'll just go straight away into the lecture. We all know Mr. Kunle Lawal, so I don't need to do so much introductions. You're welcome, sir. This topic will be the candidate 360 perspective. Yeah, throughout the course of the program, you've been learning about politics, governance, and what it takes. So today will just be like a summary of everything. And by the way, our ED also released a book for those that are not aware, The Candidates. It's a very awesome read. For those who want to, please just reach out to any of the admins. I will send you the link to purchase it on Seller. Yes. So, Edie, you have the floor. You're welcome, sir.
Good day, everyone. Good day, 10th cohort. Sorry, I have to do with the Spider-Man background. It's the only place I could find that was quiet in the house. So welcome to the candidate. I hope everyone will enjoy this last class. I believe it's a perfect summation for everything you have gone through, and I look forward to a great class, and I hope everybody is ready for it. So everything you've done, your party plans, your party movement, your general perspective in trying to go over the 24 or 25 courses which you've gone over, all led us to here, which is the candidate. So the target of this class is to make you see things differently, just from a little angle, a little perspective, which is totally different from what everyone expects from generally candidates. So preceding joining the Electoral College, I'm sure a lot of people had some notions about politics, had some notions about what being a politician is, what being a candidate is. I'm sure you had your personal notions to what generally people who sought political power or whatever are. And I'm sure over time you have found out that these weren't necessarily true, or these weren't necessarily the way things are. So this class, it's not a long class. It's just, a perfect summation of things you've tried during campaigns, things you've tried, things you've been taught, things you've gone, or things you've looked at from an outer perspective. But now, armed with the present knowledge which the Electoral College has given you, we're hoping that you'll be able to navigate this from a close perspective. So everything you've done has led you up to here. Thank you for being part of the class. Thank you for being part of the courses. Thanks for everything you've done within the 10th cohort. I will say something before I start this class. The target of the Electoral College under my stewardship has always been to produce people who could either navigate the political terrain properly or raise politicians. We have no business raising activists. And I'll tell you, we have enough activists in Nigeria. If activists could change this country would have been changed sometime in the 60s. Being able to infiltrate the system, understand the system, break through the system is what we want you to do. So what brought this particular line for me is that I looked at the issues around the presidential elections which you just held. And, people complaining this went this way, this went this way. I'm sure Lisa has no short terms made clearly that the Electoral College is running an academy, how it understands it should be run. And, it's kind of funny when people have to tell you what's free and fair when you're looking from one side of the mirror. The Electoral College fully has tried to do everything possible to make everything balanced. We've listened to you on times of disqualifications, at times we needed to listen to you. But at times in which we decided for the greater good of all and for the greater good of the class, things should be done a particular way. You might not need to agree with it, and that's politics for you. What I will tell you, if there's any gift I hope you leave the Electoral College with, is that going into politics is not an emotional thing, and there's no emotional response. Everything should be logical and planned. It was funny I don't want to mention a party's name, see someone who just got across the line. I was allowed across the line, sending a petition to my office. I remember I treated the petition in about 4 minutes. And I wasn't happy with what I saw. But like I said, we're all in the learning process. Sometime later, maybe you might understand what exactly needed to be done by the college. And excuse me, for those of us who decide to move and become part of the college, maybe you'd understand as the journey goes. At 10th cohort, so trust me, we face this kind of problems and we've gone through everything. So I'd like to welcome you to your class, a candidate, a 360-degree perspective. So the first thing we're going to ask in this class, who exactly is a candidate? Now, we have different views of what a candidate is. Most people would like to tell you, and this comes down with people in the media, no offense, they can't separate a candidate and an aspirant. And please, I've seen people graduate from political academies who started after us, the Electoral College prize itself for being the first. And we've seen people say candidates and aspirants, call aspirants candidate, call candidates aspirants. So I'm going to make clear for the last time. A candidate is someone who's aspiring for an elected position, who has won the ticket of his political party or who has won the mandate within his organization to represent that particular organization or political party in a ballot. And he's carrying the party flag. His name won't be on the ballot as it is, but depending on some associations, your name will be on the ballot or the party insignia. You carry it and has an automatic mandate to run in an election. This needs to be taken into full cognizance. Aspirant is anyone aspiring for power. Kunle Lawal can wake up today and aspire to be the president of the 10th cohort, or aspire to be the president of ECN, or aspire to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Is an aspiration. Anybody is allowed. Democracy fully allows people have an aspiration, but what the process goes through to become a candidate must mean I'm mandated or have won through the legal channels a position to represent the country. Now, a candidate is on a ballot, and being on a ballot comes with a lot of things. First, I would use it's a great time where we're in now, so this is a lot to explain to students. So I'm sure everybody here is either articulated, batified, obedient, I don't know what Kwankwaso calls himself, the Kwankwasia movement, yeah, beautiful, the Kwankwasia movement, or even you could be with the SDP, Prince Adedayo, and you could be excited about that. You could be with Kola Abiola in the PRP, and I'm excited about that. But you see, as we head towards February 25th, what you would see on the ballot is not Kola Abiola, Peter Obi with his glasses, Kwankwaso with his red cap, Atiku with his usual smile, Batified with his symbolic cap. There won't be Emilio on the ballots. What you're going to have there is the APC, PDP, Labour Party, NNPP. And I think while walking you through your campaigns, and if you started within parties, I think the Electoral College was able to seep in a few knowledge of what party names are to you guys, the ADC, the NRM. You become more concerned with political parties, and that's one of the targets of the college. Most Nigerians don't know there are 18 political parties. The assumption is there are probably 100. Nigerians just have, I don't know, an ambiguous perspective of what politicians are and what politicians are able to achieve and what politicians actually can do. And this hasn't helped us in any way. So a candidate's on the ballot, and the candidate, because he's on a ballot, has to make specific promises. Now, those specific promises are what you translate to a manifesto. Now, we've had candidates go way back in time, I think sometime in 1983, preceding the 84 elections, just before Buhari, then with the military junta, decided to jump into democracy sometime in 83. I think Bako Zuntu, was it? Or I think it was Bako Zuntu, was asked what his manifesto was for Kano State. And he spoke about the minerals he was in Kano State and how he was going to develop the minerals in Kano State. And when they said, which minerals were you just especially talking about? He mentioned Coca-Cola, Fanta, and Sprite. Was it Sprite? I can't remember. I was very young, very young. So I just heard the story a little bit when I was growing up. So a candidate has to make promises. You need to understand whether these promises are within the office, the jurisdiction of office. And, we've built a culture in Nigeria. So the target of the Electoral College is to teach you what's right, not teach you what is the culture. So there's the culture in Nigeria where presidential candidates tell you they're going to change this, they're going to do that, they're going to, I've been at an event which a presidential candidate was, and then I was running for Senate in 2019. And the conversation was, about the LGBTQ, and she said because she's a Christian, her own perspective. Hey, I just let the cat out of the bag. So she said because she's a Christian, her own position on the LGBTQ or stance is that she doesn't agree with it, but because she's a Nigerian, she has to love everybody and she's president of everybody, she will ensure LGBTQ rights. And everybody was jumping and screaming in the room. Well, you know that Kunle Lawal is probably hated by the 10th cohort, hated by media, and of course hated by a lot of people when he decides to discuss what exactly is and what cannot be. So I stood up because it's my time to talk, and I said, first, the president is allowed to have an opinion, but when it comes to what exactly will be done with the LGBTQ, the whole entire basis falls on the National Assembly. It's not in the realm of the president to take such a decision. And we're at that point where we need to understand such parameters. We need to understand things that can be done or cannot be done. We need to understand that a candidate cannot say some things. I know somewhere along the line, one of you would work for a presidential candidate. One of you might be a presidential candidate. One of you, if you're a presidential candidate, okay. Anyway, one of you might be a senatorial candidate, whatever candidate you are, do it to the best of your knowledge. If you're running for a legislative position, propose bills, do things which are necessary, get the necessary things done. Don't start sitting down and saying, this is the way they've done it. We've always given money. You see, the truth about elections is that win or lose, ensure that Nigeria wins. And that's like one of the hardest things to do. I would also say it's one of the most patriotic. But you need to understand that Nigeria must win. It's not about you personally assuming an office. Congrats to the people who won offices within the court. But I'll say the people that participated pushed the bar. It wasn't about them winning. It was about pushing the bar. Generally, governance is better in the 10th cohort proceeding because a lot of people participated. The win is for 10th cohorts, not for a party. The win is you all got to know how politics works. You all got to see how the cycle of politics is engaged or how the wheel turns. And, it will be foolhardy to think that this is not a replica of what exactly goes on. This is just on a minor scale. Trust me, the hurts are more, the pain is deeper. Politics carries a bigger problem. So the candidates on ballot, and you must be able to work within those parameters. Now, the candidate is a target. Now, a lot of you ran for office in the 10th cohort. I can't remember whether it was this cohort that someone was talking about for local government elections. Yeah, it was this. I think it was this cohort talking about local government elections. And the next thing that came out, I'm not mocking him, please. You put in a lot of effort. I respect you. I'm just trying to make a point. So he was talking about how he was going to deliver, and he did so fine till he got to the part where he had to now say, and I will report to the governor. And I remember people started writing on that Abuja does not have a governor, Abuja does not have a governor. And, it became something that, everybody kind of used at him during his campaigns. I was noticing it down the Telegram. I'm right, is this cohort? Lisa, am I right? Is it this cohort? I believe it's this cohort this happened.
Yes, so, it's this cohort.
Yeah, so, he became a target, and all his campaign and everything he said preceding that was history. People didn't even care whether he was good at what he was doing or whether he would be the best candidate for the ballot or for the post for the 10th cohort. Nobody cared again. All they could remember him with was the guy that said Abuja had a governor. Well, you're out there. I'll tell you something. I've made a lot of mistakes. Kunle Lawal didn't just appear. That's Kunle Lawal, and I'll tell you, this will keep you in check, and you always remember what you're saying when you're talking. You won't get caught up with. But kudos to you, and I'll tell you, anybody that mocks you, yeah, it's a good joke. But anybody that takes it a step further, trust me, they can't do what you did. I know what it takes to speak to people. I know how hard it is to talk to a class as much as the electoral college thinks, ED is always ready, ED is a magician, ED is this. I always stammer and stutter through classes, but nobody figures it out because I think I've grown to mask it. And it's become, something that, is like, when I talk about it, people look at it like, come on, this guy is just joking. But I've created an alter ego that seems so fluent. So I just jump into my alter ego and I watch the mistakes from myself and I just laugh about it. So kudos to, I can't remember what party, I can't remember whether, I hope you're in class. I'd like to tell you, well done. Those slight mistakes happen. Trust me, candidates in realistic situations make bigger mistakes. And these bigger mistakes are a problem that could be used against you as a target. I'd like to go to a story when I was running for office, and this is funny. So, and this is just to buttress candidates, the candidates target. So, I was called by somebody in Premium Times. I can't remember his name. I know it's M. I really can't remember his name. I know it was an M name. I think I'll even go look for him now because I think it's interesting. And then he says, there's a report that you didn't go to secondary school, you didn't finish university, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And we want to print it out on Premium Times. And he called me. I was in the campaign office. And I dropped the call at first. Then he called back. So I acted like network because I was a little confused. Now, where is this coming from? What kind of nonsense is this? And then he called me again and said, well, we just want your comments. And I said, and what I said to him next was simple. And I said, don't worry, Premium Times can print. Just be assured that I will sue you for the salary of a senator because I'm among the top, or I was within the top 4 projected senatorial senators at the time. And this is 2 weeks to an election. So if your paper hurts me, before it's decided in court what will happen or whatever, be assured that for that defamation, I will sue you for the salary of a senator for at least 4 years. And I dropped the call. Well, the report never came out. I'm friends with the Premium Times now. I think I should ask who actually made that call at this point because it was an interesting call. And I was like, and when I told my campaign team they almost fainted. But the truth is, well, what else could be done? What else could be done when you're running? I have friends who had wives with low cuts, and they were asking them, so your wife has low cuts and you're running for governor, how does that make sense or translate to anything sensible? And we are all guilty of it, especially even us within this thing. You see somebody running for office and then you'd be like, maybe a friend of yours, and you'd be like, what does this guy have? Or is he ready? What's ready about him? He doesn't need to be ready. Yeah, the reason why good people have not emerged in office. And that's because you feel created on a culture that, was started by people who are dead and buried, that the guy must have a G class, the guy must have this, the guy must have that, the guy must spend money, the candidate must pay for things, the candidate must do, come on. And you want to be America, really? Go to advanced countries and you see people that put into candidates. Whoever is putting into the candidate becomes the godfather to the candidate. And we need to really understand this. And till we get that right, we will not get anything done properly. We always want to say, whether you like it or not, a politician approaches you and says, I'd like to have this on a Tribune newspaper. So I want to have this on Punch. All of a sudden, something that is 5K, you will jump up to 35K. Wait, Caroline is a question. Yeah, with Premium Times, right? Oh, no, not Premium Times. You're with a media agency, right? Can Caroline, Lisa, unmute Caroline, please.
You can unmute and speak, Caroline.
Caroline, are you there? Caroline, you're with a media agency, am I
right? No, I'm not. Actually, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Okay, I thought you were. No problem. I wanted to cite an example. So,
all right. Thank you.
Okay, so this has become a culture of, people within the system, and it's not only the media, even people that, let's say, have printing press or printing this thing. You go to that system and you say, okay, I want to print posters. They say, it's not stolen money. It's a politician. Let's rip him apart. And later you wonder why the right people don't get into office, and you have nerve to complain in your hair salons, in your beer parlors, while drinking your cold whatever. Nigeria is useless. I want to jackpot. We are part of the uselessness. You don't know. Hasn't dawned on you, or nobody has told you. A lot of people say, no. This election is between this, that. Overvoting happened. Have you read your Electoral Act? No, you've not. The Electoral Act is there. You people have not. But if I ask you who is what's the name of the actor's name? Whatever his name is. What's his side chick's name? You know it. And then who is kissing who in Big Brother? All of you can answer. Come on, Nigerians. Come on. So candidates remain targets because they're aspiring for power. It's something that comes with power. I tell you that as a candidate, you must learn to withstand and hold, and you must have the personal drive to be stronger than these parameters. Next, the situations, just imagine how somebody like BAT feels, or somebody like Atiku feels, or somebody like Peter Obi feels, or somebody like Rabiu Kwankwaso or Kola Abiola. Do you know how many? If you read the tweets, you then trust me, you have a heart attack. It comes with everything. You hear every story. There's a common saying that if you want to know who your great grandfather slept with, you go into politics, and that's what will happen to you. And that's how. So candidates are always targets, and they're always under quite a lot of pressure. So we'll go to the next slide, and we'll start with steps to becoming a candidate. So first, you need to identify the position best suited for you based on your qualities. Now, you see people who have an understanding of the Constitution wanting to go for, I'm not saying it's not good for them to go for president. They're just better suited to be in a legislative role. Or you see someone who is good at managing people wanting to go into just a more executive tuned person wanting to go on. And this is the problem. We don't have who advises us. You just look, so let me tell you how Nigerians are. I'll just say, I beg, which position I feel enter like this now? So I think, man, let me see. If I go this one, it'd be like say, it go tight for me. You know that guy we don't did there like 4 years, man. Go hard. Maybe I just go for this one. Is that why you run for office? And that's the situation across board. Can I? There's no plan. There's no drawn deal. I can tell you, post-elections, post-February, once a new president is sworn in, everything will go quiet. Political parties will go on, apart from maybe one or two that will be abusing government, which is normal. Everybody will go on a low, but it's only their PR that will be talking anyhow, just so that they get noticed. And they'll wait till election again. Everybody start running out. Hey, how far? Which post I run for last time? And House of Rep. And my position supposed don't grow now. Supposed to take which do they call that? Supposed to take Senate now. Or some will say, maybe I don't know. At least I run last year. If I run again, they talk tenacity and everything. Yes, they said tenacity is everything, but you don't go to sleep. You continue moving, you continue building, you continue working, you continue interfacing, you continue. It's only in Nigeria where somebody wants to run the first time and get it. What is your intention? That's the question. Okay, I've run for office. Okay, just so that when they invite you to come and discuss something on TV, they'll just write a presidential aspirant, presidential candidate. Crap. I've warned anybody. There are two things I dislike when I'm on media. Anybody that calls me activist, anybody that writes X nonsense. I don't know, but that's my position. So next to politics is war, and you need to have a strategy to win. So what's your strategy? How many ballots? How many PUs are you within the jurisdiction of PUs? Have you interacted with? Have you interfaced with? How did they win here? How did they lose here? What happened last election? What could be tilted? What is undecided? You need to put this down. And Nigerians are less strategic about. They just think, go to the Emir of Kefi, just an example. Go to the Emir of Kefi. Give him 1 million. Everybody's giving him 1 million. Maybe I'll give him 1 million. And you think you get there. You won't now. But imagine if you've been eating with the chief of Kefi, asking him this, that you organize, get one borehole done, preceding election. When everybody's giving 1 million, you just scrolling at bros, you don't like, don't mind them. I told them, I didn't tell them it's you. Collect the money. How far? They even brought one goat. Maybe we use them chop suya now. Chop pepper soup. One of my wives will make us pepper soup, sit down and laugh. And later you'll be saying I was rigged out even when I gave 1 million. People are so goddamn emotional. You were rigged out. When did you start running for office? when INEC declared and you think you want to win, you're not in a position. Next will be ticket acquisition. Now you must try to achieve the ticket within your party. Sometimes aspirants get a little foolhardy, and no offense, so I respect Professor Kingsley Moghalu. He's someone that's a friend, and I look up to him. But he was emotional about his ticket and very short-sighted as regards what happened within the ADC. We noticed an influx by someone who was in the PDP, Ibe Kachukwu. That's Dumebi Kachukwu, later won the ticket for the ADC. You noticed him coming. He's an old PDP guy. Was ready to play the game. You couldn't sense that this higher infiltration came from somewhere else. You weren't picking on the politics that Dumebi couldn't just want to run for president from nowhere and just come and scatter it just a month to your primaries. Came in, $1 trillion, and then your party now decided, okay, you know what? They're going to move the primaries to Abeokuta, where ADC does not even have a stronghold. And you didn't sense anything. You're just like, man, I'm Kingsley Moghalu with the K on my chest, please. Oh, this thing is recorded. I'm sorry. Anyway, and then you walk into the primaries and whatever happens, and you're shouting foul and crime and whatever. Give me a second, everyone, just a second. So sorry about that. I'm back here. So as regards ADC, that was what transpired, and Kingsley took it personal, but it's the game of politics, it's strategy. Everybody tries to X out the next person. He was seen as a threat earlier, an ideological threat, and someone decided, and I can't say, but I know, some decisions were taken by probably some presidential candidates to X him out in the primaries, and he was so fixated on running for president that he forgot this intentional part, ticket acquisition. Now, the reason I'm using realistic situations is not to undermine anyone. Trust me, everybody who has put himself out for politics, who has a good heart and has a concept of, or has general love for country, is someone you should respect. But I'm spotting out, things that you should avoid, things you should move away from, things we need to get over with in Nigeria. So the next will be question your strategy always. Now, this is something most people forget to do. We just sit down and just come up with a strategy, man, you go walk. Nigeria is so unstable with plans that it's ever changing. So sometimes you'll be like, okay, man, the obedience are against me, man. Disobedience are their young group. How do we capture the young group? Okay, there's no short time to capture them. Okay, what can we do? Okay, you know what? Let's get the companies, let's push the companies that have Big Brother. Let's fund them a little bit to be able to host a Big Brother. We'll give them half of the money, and then they'll be able to do it. Do you know what that means? That means it's done. At least the few that were not really part of it, we'll weaken them at least to about 40%. Good move, predictable. There's more strategy in Nigerian politics than we understand or agree. A time ago, somebody would tell you a vote for a small party is a waste of your votes, and you guys believed it. The same people that kidnap ballot boxes and bribe people in coalition houses told you that, and you believed it. How could you? They sold you an idea. There's a basic concept, which is not if you tell a lie, whatever the ears hear and the eyes see, the mind believes. It doesn't necessarily have to be true. So sometimes in culture and, in re-engineering and human behavior, you find out that repetition comes very, very key to it. Just like people who watch, motivational speakers, when they keep charging you, you start to believe you're a lion and can cross. Same with politics. We just charge you with the wrong message a long time. And when we charge you the wrong message, you go the wrong way. You start to think it's true. Politics costs money. In short, nobody can enter politics. They tell you that a long time. You sit down home now. It's the way it is. Now you need to also understand party internal democracy. Case of Kingsley Moghalu is very key to understanding this. He joined the party almost late. You know, most people just join parties because they want to run for office. I always tell people, see the game through. Join the party early. Understand how it works. Know who actually has weight and who doesn't. So that when you come out, you will know who is making noise and you'll be laughing at the JJC, see them giving this one money because telling them is the one controlling the delegates, is not. Then in politics, this is key. Always be ready to take a loss. Always be ready to take a loss. Might seem hard, but always be ready to take a loss. It comes with the territory. You must be prepared for life after politics. You must be able to direct and explore the future. The position shouldn't be, don't allow the honorable, distinguished, don't allow it get into your head. Because eventually will. And you lose basic concept of who you are. You lose where you're headed. You start to think you're already in power when you're not. And that's the greatest weakness you can have as a candidate. We also need to critically understand that politics is a variables game. Now, there are a lot of variables in Nigeria. Fuel price, it's playing against the fuel scarcity right now, is playing against the APC. Change of currency is already playing against the APC and PDP. The Labour Party in some places, and NPP too. These are things that will keep, and then, you know, diaspora involvement in Nigerian politics is always there. But now the bridge of bringing dollars into the country, which is so hard, is affecting the way politics normally is. A lot of money. So the Chatham House talks, which I don't totally believe in, and I'll say this here, I think it's stupid we go to Chatham House, any presidential candidate. And that's because I've not seen any British, anyone trying to be British PM in Ariwa House. Lisa, is Ariwa House we have here. Not seen anybody in Ariwa House defending his reason to be British Prime Minister. So please, for me, I find it a very slavist principle. Sorry, I'm quite hard-ended with my own ideology. I don't know, Lisa, has any one of them come to Ariwa House?
No, not that I know of.
I know they've not. They know they won't. So I don't see a reason why we go to Chatham House. But before, when we used to go to when we go to Chatham House, you know, dollars would rain. I remember 2015, Nigeria's diaspora would be send money back home to boost an election. Now that's not even possible. So we need to understand all those variables coming up, you know, and, you know, be able to navigate your way through them with politics. So these are candidate parameters, and, you know, just a few that we need to put into our heads. We need to provide, as a candidate, you need to provide a robust understanding of governance systems. We've taught you all this, the Legislative Senate, this is how everything works, you know, so that you can spot where problems are in the chain, local government, this, that, why local government autonomy, which recently was not approved by 24 houses in the that's in the State House of Assembly. I would say a few that I remember that approved it in their state houses are Kogi, I think Akwa Ibom. Don't worry, Lagos, it didn't pass in Lagos. Yeah, the very smart city that doesn't want to be smart. I can't remember off the top of my head, but 24 states didn't pass it. About 13 passed it. And it's not what state legislature, which is State House of Assembly, they've granted financial autonomy to them. So let's see, when the State Assembly is no more under the governor's fiddle, let's see whether they'll be able to do anything. Another thing is governance has no gender. You need to understand that I don't care whether you're a man or a woman. So don't, you know, I've had funny people come to me and say, you know, I'm a woman, that's why I'm running. Huh? I don't listen to that. You can online the sentence, say it anywhere. This I'll tell you, I've given opportunities, and the Electoral College is there to defend me. I give opportunities based on efficiency. I don't care whether you're a man or a woman. I virtually don't even see that. The only time I notice is if you're tall like Lisa and almost as tall as me. I'm like, yeah, come on, chill, waiting now, and I fight. But generally, governance should have no gender, and we should just pursue who's best at it. That's the truth. Unveil the iron curtain behind campaign to appeal to the electorate. Most times, the electorate, the campaign is so shielded away from the electorate. They just say this guy is good, this guy is this. I'll tell you some key votes I got. It was because I used to walk around from campaign office, which was in Wuse 2. I used to just walk. It was in that part of Wuse 2, very close to H Medics. So I used to come out and just stroll. There was one juice I was a fanatic of, one orange juice that they sell in H Medics. So I used to walk up. And there were posters of me all around. So it was just a walk, very short walk, less than a 4-minute walk to H Medics. So I used to stroll to H Medics or Amigo and go and get, if you know Abuja, that's Central Wuse 2. I'll go and get a bottle of juice and maybe something I don't eat much, so I love what they call it, rubbish food, junk food. I just pick rubbish. I don't like shawarma, and I don't eat shawarma. I feel it tastes like a sin. And so I just went to pick something, and I met quite a few guys, and they're looking at me, Senator, what are you doing here? I was like, is it wrong for me too? Something can happen to you. I was like, nothing has happened to me. I do this every day. And they're like, you mean people can just talk to you? And I was like, yeah. And some of them followed me back. We bought drinks for them, sat down, just. And they just became some of the neighbors around the campaign office, and people like guards I used to meet. Anytime I'm strolling past, the guards will hail me, hey, Senator. And they told me, we go do this one, we go do this one. And if you take polling unit assessment, when we're doing the post-mortem of the elections, at that particular polling unit, I won. Why? Access. There was no iron curtain. Everybody else saw me on TV, radio, etc. Yeah, I tried to meet everybody, but remember, you're one person, you can't do much. But this goes to curtail the fact that things can be done. Anyone that tells you that politics doesn't cost money anywhere in the world is a liar. The person should be spanked and shot. I don't promote violence, though. Get a backyard of finance. You need it. Not to dash people. Adverts, blogs, TV, this, that, management, branding. You need to be hire consultants, get people who can actually do the job. Backyard of finance is needed. You need to reignite also an interest in political participation. The people who sway votes are always people that have been able to convince the undecided. The undecided are always the determinant of any election anywhere in the world. There are those who are in PDP, they are not going anywhere, they're going to vote PDP. There are those in NPP, there are those in Labour, they're not going anywhere, they're going to vote. But you see you that are saying, I'm just obedient, you're not part of the party, you're undecided, and you can be altered. Because you're not grafted in a party and you're forming one unnecessary loyalty. Yeah, you still can be shifted. It's just what will shift you that differs. You can be shifted. So you need to reignite an interest in political participation with your candidacy. You need to be able to push that up. You need to sway the undecided. Leave those who have made their decision already. Next will be to insulate your family. I cannot tell you this more than normal. I need to say fly them abroad, but you need to insulate them from the actions you're having. And this comes down to the simple things. Your son probably got an award in school. Next thing you take a picture and then you are holding him his school badge, showing which shows his school. What do you think is going to happen? You're running for office. What do you think is going to happen? Really? You just put your son's public, your son's school public, and you think somebody will try to kidnap him when his father is running for governor. You just you were the one that wrote the roadmap. Here's my son, kidnap him. That's what you did, arrow, kidnap him. This little mistakes. And people say, politicians, they push their families away, and you think they are stupid. They're not stupid. You know the game they're in. I can't say this more than anything. Plan for an eventuality of loss. I've explained this earlier, and I've drummed on it a lot. But this is something I love to tell everyone. There's no one who has run for office around me, and I always say so. It's not about win or lose. Give them a race to remember. Give them a race that people will sit down and say, if we had taken this guy. And that's what it always is about. Let those coming after you say, oh, you don't have bills on your poster. No. Kunle did. And it seems you're not as smart as Kunde, even though you're claiming you're the new breed. And that's what it is. But Nigerians, we love winning. So candidate methodology, being a candidate, I'm sure you guys know this, I'll just skip through it. So you need to create a brand. For me, I remember my slogan then, just like you, KL 2019. I enjoyed it. 2, know your target electorate. 3, study history, but navigate the present. Don't let the history dictate or blind you. They used to give money in this place. Doesn't mean you should give money. Develop a relationship with them. Differentiate from others. That can utilize your party structure. Prepare for attacks on your candidature. You can think of everything they can say about you and come up with an answer. Prepare for, use all media to your advantage. Be decisive. Prepare for campaign moves. Every campaign has a move. Labour Party, they have moves. APC, they have moves. PDP, they have moves. Everybody's the way politics works. It's a spy game. It's like playing with the KGB and the FBI. Sorry, the CIA and Mossad and MI6. That's how it is. And that's how, as a candidate, So in conclusion, specifically, a candidate, he or she must, I wrote he alone, God forgive me, must solve 4 successive problems in achievement of a successful political career. First, he or she must join a political organization and become. You want to develop that political style that will earn respect, leadership in his or her party. He or she knows that this means finding out what the members of the political party or organization appear to want from the political process and the extent to which they can appear to be instrumental to their desires. Secondly, he or she must eventually exhibit an interest in becoming the party's candidates in an upcoming election. He or she must fraternize with the leaders and attempt to get their backing. He or she must enter a primary election and win the support of the voters. Thirdly, if he or she wins the primaries, he or she will have to go before the voters in the general election. He or she will have to make important decisions on campaign strategy, including issues, advertising, appearances, and funding. He or she will face a problem in voter analysis, choosing targets, allocating resources, and timing them for maximum impact. Fourthly, if he or she is elected, he or she must do the kind of job in office that will get them re-elected. This will be a function of the organization he or she built, the position he or she takes, and the rhetoric he or she uses. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure with the 10th cohort. I'm done.
Awesome, short, concise, and very interesting as usual. Thank you, Edie. I'm sure the 10th cohort will miss you. Okay, so questions. I think I saw a few in the chat box. Okay, someone is asking, Bello Ahmed, he's saying that what about the idea of independent candidacy, which will someday find itself into our system? So must one belong to a political party to be focused on whom they want to vote?
Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to mute this so that okay, fine. So that it's no double sound. I'm using my phone and my laptop. So as regards independent candidacy, what do I think? Independent candidacy is great, but like I've always said, I'll never support independent candidacy on anything more than local government, councillor, and state house of assembly. Because if you look at how expansive Nigeria is, to be governor or to be president, let's look at president. Nigeria has 177,500 and something polling units. You want to run for president on an independent candidacy. On election day alone, let's say 10K for two polling agents per polling unit, multiplied by 10,000, multiplied by 177,000. You're talking of 1.8 billion close to on just election day. Flights around, you need a structure moving around, not a structure as money as they're talking about, but you need people, you need somebody as this, except you have a long-term plan that will work. But Nigeria, I don't think it's ready for that independent candidacy. except at the lower levels, which of course we've tried to push within the system, and I've always stood behind. So yes, let's stop this ideological dreaming. Independent candidacy doesn't even work in the US. Vis-a-vis Kanye West running for president last time. And he's Kanye West. How many followers does he have on Twitter and Instagram? He ran for president. And you all know how that ended. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, awesome. I think someone else was asking that how smart will it be for a candidate to refuse an invitation to the Chatham House when others are actually honoring it?
Well, that's your choice. I'm not asking, that's your choice. If I were running for president, I would have refused it. That's a personal choice. Do you want to be everything, or do you want to stand behind an ideology that Nigeria's sovereignty is higher than Britain's? It's a personal choice.
Awesome. This is, by the way, someone is saying that you should consider stand-up comedy in another life. That your punchlines and sarcasm is 100%.
If whoever that is, I didn't get the name. Whoever that is, I'll be open to it if you give me my first gig. Let me see whether it's better, because I think this politics and co, you can see the drain in my eyes. I was supposed to take you guys the Electoral Act. I didn't have the time for that. And I couldn't do a lot of that. So I wouldn't mind doing that. I wouldn't mind doing that. I think it's a more relaxed. And if I could share with 10th cohort, since you guys are graduating, I have to be normal with you guys now. So if there's one of the dreams I always had, is to be a DJ. I have an expansive music library, and I still do it on family functions. I'm DJ, waiting for my phone. My laptop is crazy. I have music. Don't know the kind of music that you probably like. I don't listen to noise, which emanates from Nigeria a lot. But I think I do better as a DJ than as a comedian. I think I just know how to joke sometimes with politics in Nigeria.
Okay, awesome. DJ KL, yo. Okay, so does anyone else have a question? Please just indicate with a show of hands. This is the last class, so you're free to ask questions that border on any of the topics that have been taught, any questions you have regarding politics, governance. It's open.
I need to ask one question. I attend other classes and I watch how people ask questions. Why is it when I teach, nobody asks questions? And don't tell me that I teach so simple and so simple. I'm not. So,
well, that's what it is now. Anyway, Indidi actually has a question. So Indidi, go ahead and ask yours. Okay, someone else also has indicated.
Everyone.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, so I was actually the one that dropped the comment on ED becoming a stand-up comedian. I really think he's something else. I always enjoy his classes, and he calls it as it is. You understand, and even gives examples and references. So I was the one that sometime at the beginning of the cohort, asked. I said I was a teacher, and I would like if this move, this how do I put it now? This awareness we are raising, if it can be spread to schools, particularly secondary schools. And I don't know, I can't remember what the response was at that time, but this is me proposing again. Is there a way we could, send the message in form of maybe setting up clubs or something in schools, secondary schools particularly? Yeah. We can start in Lagos. Yes, Mr. Kunle. Yes, sir.
Indidi, you called me a stand-up comedian, so I feel you need to give me my first job. But to answer the question, the Electoral College will be happy to do that. We even have a handbook which we've not brought out, which is for kids within that age. And I think we've worked with some secondary schools, so we have a general idea. If you want us to start in Lagos, I think, okay, I'm swamped right now. So I think it's something Lisa or Chalia could manage, or Maureen. No, okay, Maureen isn't it? But Lisa could manage that. Lisa is the head of politeracy, and then Lisa can, delegate. But the electoral college will be open to it as long as you can provide what secondary school will go to and how we'll do it. That we're open to that.
Oh, definitely,
Okay.
definitely. Definitely. I would love to even start with mine. Definitely.
The only thing I'll tell you is that whatever you're planning, it has to be after elections.
No,
Because
sure, definitely.
if I show you my schedule now, you probably I virtually have lost. I know
you're a busy man.
I'm not busy. Sometimes I'm playing Football Manager on my computer. Trust me on that. So, thank you very much indeed.
Okay. I think someone also asked in the chat box that should you dive into politics from an ideological perspective or from a pragmatic perspective? This is from Habila.
Those are big words. Because he used big words, I'm not sure I can. So you approach politics from, you can be both. So this is me talking to this class, and this is a target group. So that's how I'll interact. If you notice, I can fully flip to broken English. I can flip to Hausa. I can flip across. I can't flip Yoruba. And I'm happy I can't because, no offense, H factor in there. But I think that depending on who you're speaking to, you have to be a different person. If you're speaking to a group that has a little bit of everybody, if you've noticed, I don't use big words. Not because I don't know them, not because I can't use them. This I'll tell you that it's only when I'm angry I start using very high English. But I can't, you need to be able to sell yourself to everybody. So it depends on how you want to adapt. You can teach them governance without teaching them, without be sounding ideological. So I'll give you an example. Let's say Ogun State, you don't want to give them money, but you have to show them that you want to give them, should give them good governance. And then you can just go, okay, I don't want to, I'm not going to have to, I'll say this in pidgin. If I try Yoruba, your guys are going to laugh. So you can just say, as it be like this, nobody say, I know they talk to the delegates or but you don't say this job now for all of us. If we deal like this for trying to think of a local government in Abeokuta, in Ogun State, my brain is, anyway, whatever local government, let's say the Diaraba local government. So as we did like this for the Diaraba, suppose they hold our people accounting. Say local government chairman don't buy 2 cars, don't buy house for Abuja and Lagos. Where our money did? You have to. So it depends on, you are selling ideology, but you're using their language to sell it. So it's either you're ideological or you're not. You can't really stand on both sides. You can't really, play both sides. Please, so you have to be able to balance it. So these questions, I feel we already know the answers, but we're a little afraid. Do you know you sound different if you're actually talking about the things that really matter? You sound different from everybody. And I think that's what matters. I mean, while everybody's laughing and enjoying ED, please, let me tell you something. There are many TV channels that don't have ED right now because of something I've said, or because of somebody I've solved, or because me, I don't seem to have good control on my mouth. And there are many TV channels. I have beef with Arise. I have beef with channels. Okay, channels. What happened to channels? Okay, let me just share that one with you. I think it was Malkwe Ogun, and she was telling me we used to live in the same estate in Abuja, and she was interviewing me, and she said, Kune Lawal, I live in your estate and I don't know you, so how are you going to win the election? And I said, as long as Channels TV continues collecting 1 million naira from candidates, I don't have 1 million to give you, so I don't expect you to recognize me. And Channels kind of took that personal. And I remember telling her that if she thought she was talking to one of the unintelligent politicians, she should know that I'm not that kind of person. And many situations like that. So please do not be like ED, please. ED has his own parameters. You will not be rich in politics, and you will not. I've said quite a lot of things that don't allow me. A lot of people don't want to have me on forums. I don't want to mention names, though there are a lot of people whose social media godmothers and godfathers that once they see it on the program, they bail. Me, I don't know how to hide things. And I'm a simple person. You can hear me, I'm more rich. I'm not trying to be rich. And I'm just clear with the Constitution. A lot of people that don't like me, Abike Dabiri, there are multiple. Festus Keyamo, your Attorney General, there are plenty. Don't be like it.
Don't try this at home.
Don't try it at home. Oh. He knows how to disappear. He just I look like an 18-year-old that passed. If you cannot don't try it, because man, I will not sit.
Oh my goodness. All right. Favor, please, you can unmute and ask a question.
Okay. Good evening, sir.
So, Broderick, how's it?
Fine. My question is as regards to Osun State election that just happened, the saying that just happened. I'm asking, with what they are saying about the overvoting, relating it to the forthcoming election, how can we, the electorate, kind of bring in a free and fair election if such thing happen? Because I'm thinking that would be political, saying there was an overvoting in Osun State. Thank you, sir.
What do you mean by the word political?
Sir, I didn't get you.
That? I said that would be political. I said, what do you mean by political?
Because I don't think you swear, or you swear in a governor, and later on you kind of bring an issue that it was an overvoting occurred in the state. It will be kind of political because the incumbent governor who just left the seat was an APC. And looking at Nigerian situation in terms of the judicial side, I think most of them are political. Let me be fair to that. They are kind of political, kind of judgment. So I would think it is political on my own view, sir.
Hey, Roderick, after what we've taught you guys, hey, Jesus. Anyway, I'll try to explain it. So, good question. I'll first start. If you've read the Electoral Act, preceding the 2022 amendment, overvoting, as regards overvoting, INEC didn't care. If, let's say, we're in Electoral College polling unit, if we're 5,000 there, as long as it's 5,000 votes that come from there, INEC did not care. Now, with the new Electoral Act, it only cares about the people who are accredited voters in that polling unit. So it knows the total people, but the number that are accredited, let's say 1,000 are accredited out of 5,000, it means that the election cannot exceed having 1,000 voters. Now, we already are aware that BVAS reports directly to the central. You cannot quote me saying this. There are only two things that could have happened. One, in those places, either INEC was compromised, even if the party agents took the BVAS and did what they wanted to do, it means INEC was compromised. And then two, this could be a long game to ensure that BVAS is not used in the presidential election. Everything is not always as you see it or as you want to see it. I've told you, divorce emotion from politics. But with time, we'll see which one of the two things I was talking about it is. Thank you.
All right. Let me quickly take Lechi's question from the chat box. He's saying that what words do you have for young people that are running for office in 2023? What would you say to them?
It's already too late now. They're going to jam rope. They'll jam rope. The only question I ask them is, why are you doing it? You know, when I hear people, why are you doing it? I want to help the people. So no, prophet. I'm doing it for the people. You're doing it for your goddamn self. If you do it, an answer I'd like to hear is you're doing it for the country. So what advice do I have for them? They shouldn't give up on what they want to do. they should look forward to putting in something that will last past themselves. The problem with Nigeria is that most of us always think short term. We only want to win an office. I'm Labour because Peter Obi is in Labour. Okay. Do you have a plan for when Peter Obi maybe wins or loses the election and forgets about Labour Party, and you have to navigate the process? You can't chart your own future with someone's plan for his own future. So the direction is simple. Where do you want Nigeria to go? How do you want to see it? And you're young, you have time. There are lots of things you can do. One of the advantages of youth is the ability to make mistakes. I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I make a lot of them. I'm not afraid to make them, but every time I make them, I try to learn from them. And that's the difference. So it's already, whatever's going to happen to them is already going to happen to them. The thing is, what will they do next and how will they handle this? There are people that I know that ran in 2019 that are scared. When I mean scared, see, you can't mention politics and then again. I don't want to call some names, some aspire politicians, but it's a hard race out there. If you love this country, it's worth fighting for. I think everybody should have a long plan. I want to be senator in 2031. I want to be Lisa in the Electoral College. You don't need, everybody doesn't need to have a political office. There are things you could do. Lisa is there changing the world, affecting cohorts after cohorts. It's more popular than ET, and she's fine now. Let's add that one. So depends on what you choose to do. We all just can't be in political office somewhere. Depends. Thank you.
All right, really, thank you. Habila, your hand has been going up and down. Has your question been answered?
I just give you compliments. My whole compliment.
Let's not start. Okay.
Okay, good.
But I said thank you now.
I beg.
Okay,
Oh,
Ikechukwu.
Wholesaler of company, Keke na Pepo. Thank you.
Ask a question.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kunle. So I just had a thought while you were speaking about where you are sharing experience regarding access as a leader. So what just occurred to me had to do with election observing. Yes, we understand the role of having to play in the election, but I also believe that the election observing plays a part to help us understand what happened in the previous election in preparation for the next election. And I believe this is one good opportunity for us to scale up on that. So I just thought to ask just a wide thought if Electoral College is involved directly with election observing in this next election. Thank you.
Okay, I've had to answer this question with the board a lot of times. I've had to defend this position. It's something. So the target of the Electoral College is political literacy. We're not jack of all trades. I think we want to be very clear on it. Yes, we use data from election observers, but the truth is the Electoral College wants to be great at what it does. So what the Electoral College is doing is providing support for those that are going to observe. We wouldn't be observing that. It's not our duty. In Nigeria, we can't do everything. Everybody wants to do constitutional review, wants to do political academy, wants to know we understand where we want to be. No offense, so for those that do every single, depends on, our Agbada has only like 1 or 2 pockets. Few Agbada has 10 pockets and you want to do it that way, fine. So I just think, Ikechukwu, if you're interested in monitoring, you can get in touch with me. I can get in touch with people that can get you into the observing the elections observations. But for now, the Electoral College wouldn't be participating in such. We will just garner data from those that did and use that for what we need to use it for. And I think that's fine with us. Thank you.
All right. Someone was asking, I think that should be Caroline. She's asking if there are other courses that could be taken. She doesn't want to leave the college.
Yes. She can volunteer to work with the college, but there are lots of other courses to be taken, like the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Electoral Act that you haven't read, and the manifestos of all political parties, understanding Nigeria's democracy, watching news, something you guys don't do, reducing time on Instagram Reels, less watching of Big Brother, and paying more attention to developmental policies in Nigeria. And those are other courses you can do, but they're not offered by the Electoral College, they're offered by Real Life. I was just joking. What's happening?
Sarcasm again.
Sorry. No.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Habila, your hands was up. Has the question been answered? I can't see your hand up anymore. Okay. Do we still have any more questions?
Habila's hand as well.
Okay, go ahead, Habila.
Yes, good evening, ED.
Good evening, sir.
And I think you're a very strong ED. So with regards to the question on the ideology and pragmatics, so what I've learned from the college has been also about being less emotional and having your eyes on opportunity. Sometimes it may not be fair. So with regards to the issue of the petition of the ADC, we looked at the situation and thought, do we have a slight chance? Do we have anything to lose, for example, giving it a trial? Would we be lucky somehow? And so on. So our expectation also is that if we go to court, for example, is the court going to be, angered by a petition, for example? So that's basically, of course, with due respect anyway, and so on. So those are the areas that I'm looking at. We do something and it may actually hurt the other people, but would it increase our chance of probably, by whatever slight opportunity, get into the office? The other thing also, the other example about pragmatics is, for example, as somebody contesting for the office of the Senate, you may not directly be able to provide infrastructure. But is it really possible to go to, for example, most of the less developed states and say you will do your job as a lawmaker? Most of the time, it's laughable in those constitutions. So should I be, ideological to say this is my job and that's what I'm going to campaign on? Or should I try to find smart ways of infrastructure is what they want to hear? So should I tell them should I be contesting for a local government chairman and begin to say, oh, I have only, we don't have full autonomy. This is what. So those are the areas that I'm looking at between ideology and pragmatics. The last question would be, what is the strategy? What is the...
Wait, Habila, can I answer your first two questions so that I won't forget? Is that okay? Habila, let me answer the first two questions and then you ask me the third one. It's just I don't want to lose track. So okay. To your second question, I've been thrown out of an emir's palace because I refused to say I was going to provide light. I told them I could put in laws that would enable renewable energy, but I've been thrown out of an emir's palace. It's in my book. The good part was that his son came back from abroad like a few months later, and we drank over palm wine, and he offered me a second wife somewhere along the line. But anyway, I was lucky there. There were people that didn't invite me back. But the good part is whenever I'm invited somewhere in Abuja to have a talk and whatever, I remember I was called in for a launching for a road. And I told them I couldn't do a road, and they drove me out of that. That was in Kuje. I was thrown out, and I went back to Kuje, and they invited me for a launching. And when they invited me, I was given an opportunity to speak, and I laughed and I said, 3 years down the line, and you still don't have the road. I said, and you threw me out for telling you a senator couldn't do this. And it's hard, but I'd rather stand on the side of telling the truth and them finding it out. It's not about me winning. I don't have to lie to win. Like I said, you don't need to be Kunilawa. I would, if I was advising you as a political consultant, I'll tell you to find a smooth way that doesn't puts you directly between devil and Lucy without saying anything categorically. Now, as regards your petition with the ADC, as regards the presidential election, first and foremost, the ADC came late. So it's funny having a petition from someone who benefited from the same thing you were accusing somebody of. So naturally, legally, if I was going to disqualify all of you, I was going to disqualify you to say. So to see a petition from you was actually funny. And then naturally, I don't respond to letters in which things are spelled wrongly. So you wrote free and fair. Fair was F-A-R-E. Naturally, I wouldn't respond to that situation. But because you're at the 10th cohort and I know you're learning. Oh, sorry, did I? Okay, sorry. I shouldn't have spoken about that, but anyway, I have already. So naturally, but I'm being honest, I wouldn't respond to a petition that is not written properly. And I just decided to respond because you see, once in a while, we've taught you, Nigerians have taught you. That's why when I was talking earlier, I said something earlier. And I said, we're teaching you to be politicians, not to be activists. If you want to be an activist, there's so many to follow. There's some activists running for president that just keep talking. You can follow them. There are some that just are on Twitter talking rubbish, though it's not constitutional. You can follow them. There are some that tell you the Constitution of Nigeria is useless and they've not read the Constitution. Beautiful. But I will be honest with you and I'll be very clear with you. Your petition was baseless, especially because your name was signed on it. Because you were just as guilty as everybody else. And if I were to cancel everything, and even if I were to deduct votes, ADC did not have a chance. We deducted according to Lisa. Lisa did the best, which was free and fair. And we wanted everybody to participate because it was last election. And it was a choice I had to make. Sometimes as a leader, you need to make choices, not because you want to be harsh or because you chose or people are copying from a past action, but because you wanted everything to end on a higher note. Everyone participated and it ended on a higher note. And the NRM had the opportunity of winning, even with minus votes. And for me, that was everything. And you don't get everything in politics. And that's another lesson I think you should learn. You might be right sometimes, but court, based on a small infraction, you could be caught up with something. And for me, I decided it was a lesson the court needed to learn. So, Abila, you can ask a third question.
Yes, sir. So the last question, I like the idea by, is it indeed how to get this to more people, get this political literacy to more people. And I think the very one important segment would be tertiary institution, universities. So I think they have learned enough to be able to take, if not exactly what we have here. And so is it possible to, okay, the main question would be, what's the plan? What's the strategy, the long-term strategy for Electoral College, and how will, we as alumni, for example, will feature into that? How can we come into it, especially with expansion?
Okay, thank you. Lisa.
Yes, I'm here, Adrian.
Did Habila pass his course? No, I didn't ask you to answer. No, because he called himself alumni before time. So we don't know that. It was Habila, no offense, I'm just showing a champ. So I couldn't resist it, or just too sweet. So of course, and the Electoral College has a full target. Yeah? You write petition. Okay, this time I hope it's spelled properly. So back to what we're going to do. The Electoral College is open to partnerships as always. we're expanded, I won't lie, but we're always open to partnerships. Long time run, we intend to educate over 100,000 preceding 2027. That's our target for 2027. We will have other targets as we move along. So of course we are moving speedily. We're trying to get this done. But we're in talks with Lagos Business School, we're in talks with Unilag, we're in talks with UI, we're in talks with a lot of people. And we're really into this issue of fast English lessons. So we're in talks with multiple, segments. We've almost had something to do with Kaduna Business School, but we didn't agree on purpose of principle. Kaduna Business Schools actually private and very, very driven towards funds, and we were looking at something highly affordable and almost free, even though it was costing the electoral college a lot to achieve. So I think with that done, I've answered all questions. You guys have enjoyed seeing Spider-Man at the back. Sorry, it's the only place I had time to hold the discourse. It's great to have you guys participate in the course. I'm impressed you are 45 in class today. I hope you guys were able to impact something on you guys. Tomorrow is your graduation. I look forward to it. Lisa and the team, don't give me a heart attack with reading things. Lisa at the head, please be the head. I'm running away. Kune is on sabbatical from the electoral college.
Yeah.
Send me something and train me. Why do I need to approve it? Lisa, you're a boss. No, I don't want to be approved. Let me be shocked too. Let me be shocked.
Really?
Thanks for. I'll say we literally the college, and this last time I'll be as a facilitator. So thanks. We enjoyed your vibes. I hope I'm cool enough now to be using this kind of language. Enjoyed your vibes. I look forward to working with you guys as a cohort, your alumni, your president, your senator, your local government chairman, trying to move literacy forward. I'd like to thank you guys for pushing forward. I can say clearly now that the 11th cohort will begin probably, I don't know whether in March or so. It will be, the onus will be on you to get people in and ensure they are not as truant as you guys. What else? We look forward to everything else, and it's always a pleasure to graduate a group. We've succeeded in what we're doing. Proud of everyone. I knew a few people in the class. I stayed a little away from the class. Yes, you are a trans cohort now. The trans cohort. How many of you attend class? This is like the least attending class in the electoral college history. Let's hope that a few that graduate will not use us like Niger, but forget everything we taught them. Anyway, thank you everyone for your time. It's always a pleasure. My name is Kune Lawal. It was nice meeting you all. And indeed, you are saying you must graduate. Do you want to rig your graduation, Lisa? I don't know. Lisa, are you collecting money for graduation rigging? I don't know what's going on.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, I don't know,
maybe
I
more
hand over to Lisa. Thank you. Forward to seeing you guys at the graduation. Yes.
Thank you so much, Edie. Okay, so I'll be giving a few announcements, but before that, I'll be presenting the certificate of return to the winner of the presidential elections. So, on behalf of the Independent Electoral College Nigeria, this is certificate of return to the office of the president, to Winfred Wisdom Aigbusi of the National Rescue Movement Party as president of the 10th cohort. Congratulations to you, and congratulations NRM. A win for one is a win for the party, so congratulations. So I'll just give Winfred a minute to just speak. Is she here? Okay, she is. Yeah, wait for it. You can just go ahead, please. Madam President.
Good
You have the floor.
evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good evening. I'm delighted, I'm honored to receive this certificate of return. I'm so grateful. Thank you to my party members. You guys are the best. I'm so happy and proud that I worked with you. Thank you for the opportunity to serve. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for raising my hand up. Thank you for pushing me. We did this together. And like she said, a win for one is a win for all of us. Thank you so much. God bless everyone that participated in this cohort. God bless everyone that supported us. Thank you to the Electoral College. God bless you. God increase you. I'm so happy and I'm proud to be one of you. Thank you so much.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, so few announcements for tomorrow. Tomorrow is your graduation. Congratulations. It will be by 5, same time for class. And you're allowed to bring a +1. Just be sure that you've been attending classes, Sha, that your name will be on the list. You're allowed to bring a +1. So we'll share the link and you can invite a family member, a friend, whoever you want to witness the moment with you. Yeah, so basically that's it. We'll be releasing the list in the event.
You'll be releasing the list in, where is Lisa? Won't the list be released during the grad?
Sorry, I had a little distraction. Yes, I said it'll be released during the event in the graduation, in the ceremony. Yes, so just go and be saying your prayers, but we don't take bribery, so there's nothing you really can do. But yes, hopefully if you've been participating and if you've been attending classes, you get to graduate. So congratulations. Even if you don't get to graduate, you can always register for the next cohort. And of course, the knowledge you've gleaned will always be with you. So if you don't get the certificate, at least you got some of the knowledge from the classes you attended. It's been awesome working with you all. We've had highs, we've had lows, we've had fights, we've made up, but all in all, I hope we've all learned. That's the most important thing. I hope we've all learned. This program was put together. You did. Did you see all the comments they were writing in the chat box for you?
I beg, they are toasting me. They know that tomorrow is doomsday. I come to collect. All the days they used to attend class, they were winning. I was begging, Abby. Now it's my fault.
Now it's time.
I beg, I'm not joking.
So yeah, but of course the cohorts will not end. From tomorrow, you become associates. Yes, and the president has the responsibility to still direct the cohorts. You can form your cabinet and, put whatever you want to put in place. So it will still run. The group will still be on. We'll merge you into one group on WhatsApp. You could do that yourselves, but the Telegram group will still be on for your cohort. So you can always trade ideas. And for those that will get to join us, we'll be glad to have you on board. So yes, it's been awesome. Thank you all for the opportunity to serve and to work with you. And we'll see you on the other side tomorrow. Good night.
And I didn't add this. So as of course, whether you get a certificate or not, if you intend to ever go into office or do anything, I'd always be there to guide, help politically. Whatever you want to aspire for, I'll always be there for you. We have a connection, and I would always be dedicated to that connection, no matter how hard it is for me. I interface with all other cohorts and people that have aspired for office or worked within campaigns of others. I still advise. It's a job I do, and I love the fact that I can do it. I love the fact that I have time to do it, and I'm very proud to do it. So don't look at it but as anything. People who have not made certificates and still turned out to be great politicians, great people that still understand, work to the college eventually. Somewhere along the line, I'll be picking a few of you to work with the college permanently. Let's just see how it goes. Best wishes, and I feel the 10th cohort can create, and yes, we are family, but okay, I'll just take it that we're family. But you should remember that Christmas time they send something to the. Please, I did not collect bribe. And well, it's also great that your president is a woman. I'm very, very proud of that. I'm happy she made a statement without stuttering. It's not other being like, is this a blah blah blue situation? Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely day. Eat out.
All right. Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow. And yes, please, it would be nice if you could put on your videos tomorrow. Look good. Yeah, it's a virtual graduation, but let's still make it worthwhile.